has won almost every acting award there is for his work in film, television, the stage. He can now be seen on Broadway starring in Dirty Rotten Scoundrels at the Imperial Theater. Please welcome our good pal, John Lithgow. Such a large man. That's just refreshing. Most celebrities are tiny, tiny people.
Your size, Conan.
Yes, yes.
Two big men.
Most nights you watch this show, I'm cradling, like, first guest. Hello there, little guest. But you, a large, strapping fellow. Good to have you on the program.
Nice to be back.
You're here in New York City. You're working on this play. You're having a good time. Are you running into any people in New York? Are you seeing any of your old friends?
Well, I don't know about old friends.
Right.
Lots of old friends, but I was in Bergdorf Goodman's returning some clothes recently, and who should I see but Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger. With an aide and a security man. And
you saw Schwarzenegger at it's just not a macho place to see.
I know. It was a strange disjuncture, but there he was, and we recognized each other. I know him very slightly, and we sat there chatting, making small talk in the middle, with all the salespeople gathering around watching.
Right.
And he said he invited me to Sacramento, and I invited him to my show.
Right.
I went upstairs afterwards, where there's this open rotunda where you can stand and talk to the people down on the first floor. And there was a saleswoman at the other end, and she was saying to a colleague, "Did you see John Lithgow?" And I thought, yes!
That's... you got, exactly. That's good.
I'm thinking of running for governor.
Yeah, you got the top billing. You know, it's so funny, because I ran into Schwarzenegger once out in the real world, and it's so strange to see him in a common setting, because he's such an unusual... I saw him once. There's a little place on the East Side, and I stop there sometimes in the mornings to get my coffee. And I stopped in to get some coffee, and I'm just sitting there, and you know you're not awake yet, and I have my coffee, and I'm just like sitting there with my coffee. I'm just having my first 2 sips, and all of a sudden I just sort of hear like, "Hey, go there!" And I look around. It was Arnold Schwarzenegger, and it's just surreal to see him, because it's like seeing Bugs Bunny, you know, in the morning. And then he said to me, the strangest thing is, he said, like, we had nothing really to talk about, so he went, "Oh, so you're having your coffee in the morning, I was like, yeah, coffee in the morning. He's like, "Yeah, it helps you wake up, I'm like, "Yeah, it helps you wake up, yeah. Coffee helps you wake up, yeah." And I was like, "Yeah." And then there was a long pause. He was like, "Yeah." And then for a while, he and I were just making noise at each other. But it was very odd. Has he come? Now, is he going to come see your show?
Well, he better come to see the show. He hasn't come yet. We've only just opened. Right, so.
Right. Now,
I'll tell you who's coming, though. Your next guest, Kevin Pollak, is coming tonight, and Smeigel's parents. So I just found that out backstage.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Now, you know, the other thing, do you get nervous when there are celebrities sitting in the audience? Does that ever bother you? Does it throw you off your game?
No, not really. Maybe it raises my game a bit.
Right,
I don't know.
right.
And you can't see them too well anyway out there.
Yeah, but if I came to the show, it would probably freak out the whole crowd. Oh, my God, it's him, the golden one. Now, you're doing... I want to talk to you about this. You're doing a radio project that sounds interesting to me. It's for a radio version of Star Wars.
No, I did that.
You did it already.
Some time ago,
Some time ago, you did a radio version of Star Wars.
In the early go-round of Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back...
Oh, the first go-round,
I was the voice of Yoda. I was working with John Madden at the time, who was directing it. And he was cast, he couldn't find a Yoda.
And you were the voice of Yoda?
I was the voice of Yoda.
Do you have a good Yoda? Can we hear it?
Oh, impatient is he. I said that to him, and I don't know, when my kids were small and watched Sesame Street, I mastered all of Frank Oz's characters.
Sure, yeah.
Like Grover, I would say, "Now I am getting closer. Now I am getting faster." And that got me the gig as Yoda.
Wow, good for you.
Frank, it was beneath Frank's dignity, apparently.
Right, yeah.
Nothing is beneath my dignity.
No.
Yes,
I've gone far on that same credo, yeah. So that's interesting to me that you were doing, because Star Wars is such a visual story that it must... I'm imagining on the radio, like, I'm in a... Oh, look, there's a ship, and it's a really big ship.
Well, I don't know.
It worked, though, huh?
It's fantastic stuff on the radio. I mean,
right.
We've all forgotten how great radio was 70 years ago before television.
Because you had to fill in the blanks yourself.
Yeah.
You had to paint mind pictures.
You should do a blackout version of Conan O'Brien.
Oh, I'll be on the radio someday. Don't you worry. I'm the only one who's trying to work my way later into the night and then onto radio. Yes. And then I'll be going door to door to talk to you all. Let's talk about Third Rock. People love the show Third Rock from the Sun, and now it's in... it's one of those shows that you know is just going to be in repeats, and I mean this in a nice way. It's going to be in repeats forever. It'll always be out there. Do you mind when you turn on the TV and you see a Third Rock? Does it?
No, I love watching myself on Third Rock. It's one of my secret pleasures, my guilty pleasures.
Wow.
Other people watch pornography. I watch myself.
I do both. I was in porn in the late 70s. But no, I would think that if you're watching yourself, doesn't it remind you of work, or do you have different associations, or are you able to...
I mean, the amazing thing to me is how much I've forgotten of Third Rock. I will see I think I remember it all until I see an episode which is like all new to me. Maybe it wasn't even me. Who knows?
But you're actually able to watch it and say, I wonder what's going to happen.
Virtually, yes.
That's kind of scary.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I remember the 10 or 12 great Third Rocks, and I think I remember them all, but there were 138 of them.
Right.
So it's, you know, and they're wonderful. I mean, I miss that show.
Yeah. Do you see it ever in a foreign country and you see it? And
yes, I've seen myself. Actually, I'm much better in French. I'll tell you a wonderful story, in fact. I was in Paris, France, walking along Saint-Germain-des-Prés, and this kind of haggard, thin, intense man came up to me and he says, Mr. Lithgow, my name is Cesare Ferrari. I am your voice in Italian movies. And he had this desperation, like, when are you going to do another film?
I love that.
I swear to God,
he only does you. That's amazing.
He's my man.
Yeah.
I said, I hear you're better than I am.
Yeah.
He was very flattered.
I met the woman who dubs my voice in other countries. Lovely old lady.
I don't know whether he does Third Rock, but he...
Right.
He's very dismayed that I've turned my attention back to the theater.
Well, you got to keep this guy alive. He's going to be... Yeah, you need to pay his rent.
Yes.
Now, this theater schedule you're on, people don't appreciate. It can be very different. It's the hours when you do theater are quite difficult.
It's a very, very different life. The rhythm of your life changes. I can't eat before the show, so I eat after the show. Actually, nowadays, I'm just turning in at 12:30. I've become an addict of the first half hour of your show.
Why the first half hour? Aren't you just riveted by my performance?
Well, tonight I'll watch the whole thing, because I'm on.
You'll watch up until you leave. You'll be like, screw Pollock.
That's
You'll
right.
turn it off. The hell with that guy. Well, Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, I want to go see this show.
It's the most wonderful show.
Well, you'll know I'm there. You'll hear the crowd. They'll be very excited to see me. Is now playing on Broadway at the Imperial Theater, and you're a good man to stop by. Always
great
a pleasure
to see you,
having you
Conan.
here.
Always.
John Lithgow, Kevin Pollak coming up. We'll be right back.